just checking how you're parking because many African girls don't know how to park.
Ooh. She said that.
I said, excuse me?
You see a young person go to UK, second day he has UK accent. I'm like, brother, you just landed yesterday.
You get given a work contract. You haven't even read it.
You read it? No.
Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to yet another special episode of Keeping in Touch with Lucky Kit, your toolkit to anything and everything, all things Zimbabwean, all things African, all things Afro-Australian, because we are Australians. I mean, Africans living in Australia. Well, we are Australians too now. So today I have a special guest, another special guest, because all my guests are special. Welcome back to Victor Adeseolu. Did I say right?
Very good, very good. Nice presentation. Thank you very much. It's good to be back here again, and thanks for giving us this platform to share conversations like this.
Yes. I love the outfit again. Honestly, whenever I'm opening the door for you now, I'm like, I wonder what he's wearing. And you never disappoint. I love this.
I might run out of clothes very soon.
You can mix them up. You can, get the other pants with this top. I think it'll work.
Yeah.
Yes. No, thank you for coming back. I know you're a busy man, but you've, availed yourself. So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Now you know the tradition. We have to do an icebreaker.
Shake it.
You want me to shake it? Yep. No, I can do that. Yep.
Oh. Oh.
Okay.
What was your dream job as a child?
Interesting.
Eh?
Yes.
You always get me.
We always get you.
I think as a child, there were a few things popping up. I think you said that as a child, there was a time they were saying that I was becoming a pastor. Because I was very gentle, I was very timid. I used to stutter a lot, so I was very quiet. So when I speak, it was more like giving pastor vibe.
How old are we talking here?
Very young age and very even when I was growing up, I was very involved in church and stuff like that.
Right. So did you ever consider that as I don't want to say career path. Is it a career being a pastor?
I don't think so.
Yes, that's why I had to stop that, to stop myself. But have you ever considered that route though?
No. I think the career that made me on the stage was stand-up comedy.
Right.
So I don't think I made it to pastor yet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That being said, I actually think that if it's a pastoral gift that one has, it doesn't go away from you. You know what I'm saying? You could be a comedian, still having that pastoral role. That's what I think.
And I think that's why I'm a social worker. Because I feel social workers are like pastors.
There you go.
But they look after people in a different way.
Yes.
Advocate for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But not like just using the Bible, but using evidence-based and social research and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, they're shepherds. No, thank you for sharing that. I don't think I mentioned what topic we're discussing today. I just realized I didn't, but it's okay. So today we're talking diversity and equality in the workplace. Because we are people of color, we've migrated from Zimbabwe and Nigeria for yourself, and we're working, here. And much as, we're in a beautiful country, but there is a lot of inequality in the workplace. And there's also racism, really, to put it bluntly. So that's why I thought I would invite you, because I know you're passionate about that, that area, and you're working as well. I'm sure you've you have a lot of experiences. So I have a few notes that I had to write down because
Let's go.
let's go, eh?
Let's go.
Are you ready, Pastor?
I don't know. Don't call me master.
No, I just think that you carry it. Even the other time, the other episode that we
Oh,
had,
yeah.
I could see that you're a man of faith,
Mm.
and you don't shy away from that, which is very good. Yes. So maybe with regards to today's topic, how has been your personal experience when it comes to inequality? I say your personal experience because we've also experienced it happening to other people. But maybe I'll come to you and then maybe go to other people.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I think diversity and equality in workplace is very important. And like I was doing my study on this topic area, on what are the top 5 reasons why people change jobs, right? And I found out that that played a bigger role. That people not feeling the leadership style was good for them, people not feeling they were being heard at workplace, people not feeling included, apart from the salary, which is top, apart from their passion has changed and stuff like that. That number 3 and 4 kind of relates to that area of study. So it's very important. In my personal experience, I left Nigeria about 2011 to the UK, and before then, I never knew what racism was. Do you get? So at that time, I was just among fellow Nigerians. Sure. So I didn't even understand that there is a time where the color of my skin won't favor me. True. It was not a thought. Sure. But then when I was leaving Nigeria, I was aiming to go to Scotland, not even London, because I know London, a lot of Nigerians were there. Sure. So I was going to London so that I can have experience of my young vibrancy. But on getting there, I've this subtle feeling I saying you don't belong here. Yeah, you don't see it. That's why it's very difficult if you're not in the same skin color to identify what's racism. So it's like it's like cancer. If you don't know what the person is feeling, sure, it's very difficult to empathize. Yep. For what that person is. So at the time, I give a scenario. A young baby on the road was saying, "Mommy, mommy, look, look, look," in the street of Stirling in Scotland. And I was like, "Oh my god, this baby likes me." Right? I was like, "Hello." And then she said, "Ah!" Yeah. And I was like, what's actually happening? Right. Applied for job, I think for in 8 months, 9 months, I didn't get a job. Right. And when I'm like, what do you guys want? Is that when you change your name from
That is when I changed
my name from Oluwafemi to Victor. Right. And as soon as I changed it to Victor, I got interviews. Do you get? And as soon as I got into it, I was like, okay, I've solved one of the problems. Sure. Now, the thing is, get into the workplace. Now, when you get into the workplace, there are other things that your own diversity background might affect that culture, right, in the workplace. So, like, I will let you contribute. Every workplace, every sector has its own culture. Yeah. So, as a person from the diverse background, you learn as you go. So you're bound to make errors as you go.
Right, right. No, thank you for sharing that. Do you think though that London? I've had cousins who went to London many many years ago. I'm talking in the 90s. So do you think though that maybe Scotland in 2011 wasn't as much open to having foreigners come in than London was? Do you think that played a role?
There definitely. I say that I don't. When I reflect back, I say I don't think it was racism for me.
Okay.
I feel it was lack of exposure. Yeah. So I felt like it was more of lack of exposure, and then someone needs to educate them. Just like the way we're doing now. So this is not like there's racism, there's that. There are many a times the person just never met someone that looks like you. The same way I have not met someone that looks like them, which is my first time, apart from TV, right? In the same way I also think of inferiority and superiority. Again, so what I've been, my environment has communicated to me is like you're going to abroad, you're now like you are privileged, you are this, you are. So that idea is more like, like imagine going to UK and I thought all white people spoke English. Yeah. And then getting to Scotland and discover that what is this? Yes. Is this English? What is this that I'm hearing? What is there? So it was more of an education for me too. As well. As well. Yes. However, it plays differently in a different way. So there's a superior and there's inferior. I like that very much. And it's a very important point you're making. It's not everything. Racism is there, no doubt, but it's not everything that is racism. Mm-mm. It's just that lack of exposure. They've just never met or encountered a black person before. And then the black person they've encountered is on the media. Yes. And the news on the media is not good. so sometimes we have to also empathize with them and bring this kind of forum where we can educate. So how then do you think we can navigate that? Because what I'm hearing is we've both agreed that it's not all racism, but then I think they also have a curiosity. I remember discussing one time in the ladies group that, like Caucasian people, they always talk about our hair. African, oh, Lucky, you've got this hair today. And, I've never had an issue with anyone asking me about my hair because today I'm like this, tomorrow I have a different hairstyle, maybe the next day I have a different one, and then maybe a colleague who's also African has a different hairstyle. And they're curious. It's never offended me, but I find a lot of people who didn't like that. Oh, why are they touching my hair? Why are they? So how then can we, the receivers of that curiosity, process it and maybe use ourselves as a platform for those people to learn? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think it boils back into personal trauma also. There's what is called intergenerational trauma. Yes. Where we've capped everything that looks discriminatory as racism. Yes. Right? Sometimes, like I was in Aldi recently, and I saw something happen. There was a family member, a mother and a child, wearing this nice African attire. And someone walked towards her and said, "You look really nice. I love what you're wearing." Sure. So I was like, I saw the reaction of the woman. She was like, "Well, thank you so much. This is that." And I was like, that is good. Yes. Because sometimes they are just curious. Yes. On asking, "Oh my God, like I love your hair and this and that." There are times there's a clean way between being discriminatory and being complimentary. So there we should think of our way as educators and say, yeah, this is nice. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I made my hair. This is where I made it. If you think you want to, you're interested, take this, whatever, learn about how we make hair. This is why we do it, stuff like that. Yeah. So they can understand. Yeah. And then as you get closer to them, you can say sometimes it can be rude. Yes. To actually go and just touch the hair without asking for permission. Oh, I like that. Yeah, sometimes it might be rude. Sure. Or whatever. Stephanie, Kelly, sometimes don't touch the hair. Sometimes just ask. Karen. Yeah. Don't touch the hair. Sometimes just, ask. Stuff like that. Yes. No, I like that. Because, come on, let's be fair. If I went to my room right now and wore a wig, honestly, you'd be like, "Oh, you look different." You'd be taken aback, and yet you already know me. So imagine in the workplace, some people, maybe you're even new, people don't know you, and you have one hair today, and then tomorrow you're looking different.
come on. So I like that we should be the educators, educate them, and then do mention, of course, do ask for permission.
The permission, yeah, for safety purposes. For safety purposes.
For safety purposes.
Go and move it. That's a problem.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's a good one. You're funny. Okay. So that's good. And I remember one of my aunties back in the day said that she went to China for the first time, I'm talking probably just before I came here, so it would be in the early 2000s. And she said they were following her. They were fascinated by seeing a black woman in China.
Definitely.
And I believe we've progressed now and all, which is very good. But we need to realize that sometimes it is a curiosity.
It is a curiosity. Like China, everything is censored. Their TV is censored. The social media is censored.
Yes.
So where would they actually physically see?
True.
So, and not like. Just recently, we have got a lot of Africans. My brother studies in China. So a lot of people are going there now to study and explore opportunities.
Yes.
So the world is getting globalized. Yes. Everybody's meeting one another. Yes. Everybody's understanding what is diverse people look like. So it's kind of a new thing that we need to start. Instead of, because the more we attack every time, the more they gatekeep.
Correct. You're building a wall as well. Yes. And the problem with the wall is they can come in, we can't come in. So we both lose out.
We both lose out.
All right. No, I like that. So we've established that it's not all racism, it's just curiosity, it's not all bad. Sometimes intention is good. Okay, we've established that. Now let's talk about the things that we've done all the filtering. We've checked ourselves. This is more than curiosity now. This now a line has been crossed. So maybe those biases that are present in the workplace. Have you been a victim of that?
Yeah. I've been a victim of many. Well, I would say most of the jobs have changed.
But you're a victor.
Yeah, well, I'm a victor.
I like that.
I think based on for example, my first job in Australia was in aged care.
Yeah.
Aged care has its own culture.
Right.
As of 2014 when I came, I didn't have aged care in Nigeria.
Sure.
So basically, I'm culturally shocked that people are in aged care.
Sure.
So I'm learning. I was very curious. I was even going there to start drumming activities to engage the family and stuff like that. But then I discovered that when I got my first job, a group of people, elderly people, came to me and said, "Victor, how do you plan to keep this job?" And I saw them as elderly people. I respected them.
Sure.
I mean, Margaret and whatever name. Yeah, now I'm a student visa, I'll do my job, I only have 20 hours to work, I don't have any problem. He said, you won't even get up to 20 hours. I'm like, why are you attacking me during break time about these small hours?
Sure.
He said, the only time you will get work is if you go on leave.
As the owners.
The owners. I'm like, in my own relationship where I see them as elderly, gray people, like, I was like, well, maybe when you guys go on leave, maybe if I get more shift,
sure,
that would be good. Next day, my manager called me and said, Victor, we were told that you told the workers to go on leave so that you can get job.
Wow.
And from that day, they cut my shift. So I became unemployed just because of that banter relationship.
Banter. So you were just having a chat from in the staff
chat, nothing
formal.
Nothing formal. Or just like a chat in the kitchen, stuff like that. And then I was like, and the guy looked at me and said, look, I'm Asian. I know what you meant was not what they say. But look, you're in Australia, this is a workplace. Be careful what you discuss.
Come on.
So that was my first one, like someone that's older than my mother. And I was like,
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
So that was my first real, like, it was more deep because, when you have gotten the job, you have said testimony, you are rejoicing, you've even sent your mom like $500,
Yes.
like, mom, look, things are happening.
Yes, yes, it's happening here.
But now, boom, all of a sudden, and I was like, okay, like, that's pretty new for me. Like, I didn't know that was a conversation that would get to that level.
Oh, and when you're new, you don't even know that is you're unfair. I mean, it's unfair treatment, but where do you go?
Where do you go? You don't know. And you're casual. Because they don't know who will give international students part-time contract. Very rare. So you're casual, less than a month into the job. So you're like, wow. And these are the things that we try to also educate people that just move in here to understand the workplace culture.
Sure.
Because it's enough for us to say, yep, that's not racism. Yep, this is a workplace. But the people coming, we're very vulnerable. Because we are like open-minded speakers.
Sure.
We are community-based
Yes.
group of people.
Yes.
Especially if you come from these community countries.
Yes.
We think we are brothers and sisters keepers.
Yes.
So we open ourselves a lot to people.
Sure. Wow. That's that. What about stereotypes? I remember one time back in probably, I don't know, a few years ago, I was doing disability work. I was given a shift to go to a place in Balkata, and then I was parking my car. I consider myself a very good driver. Thank God, I believe I'm a good driver. I'm very careful on the road, and parking. I think I park well. I drive a manual vehicle, by the way.
Oh, wow. You park well.
Yeah, so I do reverse parking and everything. And so I'm parking my car, and then I parked under a tree. So I was a bit early, running early that day. So I sat in the car for a bit. And then so while I was reversing so that I'm in the box nicely, the one of the ladies came out and she's signaling. I don't know what she's signaling. I'm like, I don't know. It was my first time there. And then I parked my car, but then I sat in my car and she just stood there like this. So me, I'm a very confident black woman. And I was like, what is she? What is this? Because I also have a bit of experience with people, and I was working with agents at that time. So when you're agency as well, there's this connotation that all agents girls are lazy or agents people are lazy. So you kind of expect it when you're walking into a workplace. So I was ready to say, what's going on here? What does this woman want to say? So anyway, I eventually went in, and then I said, oh, are you okay? Because of the way she was standing. She said, oh, I was just checking how you're parking because, many African girls don't know how to park.
Ooh. She said that.
I said, excuse me? I always say, my friends say, they laugh. I always say, I'm sorry? I literally say that. I'm sorry? So she saw my face and my body language.
And the confidence.
Yes. She said, oh, no. Not you, darling. No. I said, no, excuse me. What do you mean by that? Oh, no, you parked beautifully. I said, so I'm like, okay, she's not going to do this. Okay, that's fine. So I went in. It's my first day. Signed it and everything. And you could see that her approach she was now almost, it was actually embarrassing. I was just embarrassed for her. She's now trying so hard to be on my good side and all that. So later on in the break, I saw her again. I said, excuse me, I really want to talk about what you said in the morning. Oh, no, you know what, love? Some of these girls, when they come here, they knew and all that. I said, you do not do that. You don't know me. You don't know what people are going through. You can't say that. So you're standing out there to watch how I'm parking. I said, you're not the police. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, love. That's why I said, but anyway, I'm bringing this up to talk about stereotypes that are out there about people of color. Apparently we are renowned for being late.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced something like that in the workplace to say, oh, black men are always late? And, what's your take on that?
I mean, I've been asked, wow, you speak English. I've been asked, wow, you actually have a good English. Like, what? Did you study here?
Yeah.
Did you then well, and sometimes they believe that you are just a number to meet the equality workforce.
Sure, the quota, whatever.
The quota,
yes.
And so they ask, so what did you study? You get so they ask those kind of questions, but the real meaning is even deeper than that.
Yeah.
And statistics have even shown that most people of color think that they are well paid compared to other people, but they are not as well paid compared to the level at which they should be.
Can you repeat that, please? That's very profound.
So those most people of color,
yes,
think that they are well paid,
yes,
at the level of the employment, which they are,
yes,
especially when you get to the managerial level.
sure.
But however, when you have the access to in the information of how much every one of your colleagues are getting paid,
yes,
you discover that statistically they are paid less.
Wow.
They are paid way more lesser. And I found this very surprising in a work meeting.
Yep.
And everyone is having a tea, coffee. And I'm like, oh, I said, can you imagine they're paying me this per hour? And this one said per hour, this, per hour, that. And I was like, And I checked everybody. I'm the one that has a postgraduate qualification.
Wow.
I'm the only one that is qualified as a social worker. And I was like, everybody on this table, just me and the other black guy, are not getting as paid as the other people. And I was like, and it was shocking to me. Because I thought, I approached my manager. I said, I don't think this is the amount actually. So no, this is amount actually everybody's paid. Like, in fact, you are actually like, okay.
But they didn't realize that you're coming because you've just learned.
No, I've even came before I even learned.
Oh, you'd already been. Right.
Before, because I checked the level of short payment.
Yes.
And I saw that this is not like right. So I approached them like, can you guys do something to that thing? I said, oh no, actually you're actually getting well. But then when after a few months, and then I encountered that people are actually getting more paid than that. So that's just a part of thing that we don't really think about, but we are glad that sometimes we think, or sometimes they say things that you should be privileged that you have this role.
That line.
You should be privileged that actually you.
I always get the line that, oh, where are you from? Oh, yeah, I'm originally from Zimbabwe. Oh, glad to be here, aren't you? I said, no, I actually do miss home.
Yeah, so you should be glad that you actually this one.
Wow.
But yeah, these are the things that we experience. And sometimes it takes a bit of, I want to fight, or how can I fight peacefully?
Yes.
How can I fight with sense, and with data and with fact?
Yes.
Without being gatekept.
Right.
Or gaslighted.
And or eventually constructively dismissed.
Dismissed constructively with fact.
Yes.
And you are talking from emotions.
Yes. So what did you do then with that one?
Oh, I discovered that at the end of the day, so the company introduced, oh, now everyone is paid in this level, and then they chose the level we are going to be, right? But then I discovered that my time is kind of limited.
Sure.
In this place, and there's no point if I've approached the manager before.
Yes.
There's a level of integrity.
Sure.
That leadership should have.
Sure.
To build an effective team.
Right.
So that's why I just said, look, there is no point.
Yeah.
Pushing this further, because I've already made an effort to do that. If I had stayed longer, I would have approached them and say, look, this is the data. But this information is not like I knew it when I arrived here. So imagine people that they employed and they just say, we're gonna pay you this, and then you are happy because this job is paying $1 more, than where you're coming from. So you're like
Yes.
very excited. So
Yes.
sometimes it's like a win. Like sometimes you have to pick your battle
Sure.
smartly.
It's a very important point you're making. Exactly. I always tell people as well that it's not, yes, you've seen an injustice, absolutely, but it's about timing as well. And you don't want to do things prematurely and being immature about it. Sometimes it's just a matter of putting it somewhere, parking it, document it, and you've spoken to the manager, so you've done your bit to an extent. It just sometimes you need the experience there. You need that job on your resume. I think you can use that information as a stepping stone. Yes, no, and it makes you wiser, isn't it?
It makes you definitely wiser, and then you can advocate for other people.
Yes, no, I like that. So it's interesting that the pay gap as well. Like myself being a woman, and we're not talking about inequality. There's that other dimension as well. That being a woman alone in the workplace.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not come across it myself where I work, but I know there are some women in some workplaces where they're paid way less than their male counterparts. So you add in race
into it. Yeah, it's a thing that workplace, especially Australia, it's one of the most, I say respectfully speaking,
sure,
diverse and confused country. Why is use the word confused? It's like you can wake up right now and feel like I want to go to an Indian restaurant. You can have 5 to 10 Indian restaurants that you can go to. You can feel like I want African food. You can feel like, so everything is there.
It's available.
It's available there. Compared to when you are in Nigeria, where if you say you want Indian, you will look for it before you. So it's diverse, it's confusing, but again, now we are in this level of integration. So we need people to understand, okay, I'm from India, but this is our food, this is our culture. How can we integrate together? How can we work together respectfully? Because now you've got kids who are now here who are like Australian. You can see an Indian, like we are getting to the level that UK have passed.
I was just about to say that. Exactly right. Do you think, I mean, you've just said it. I was thinking, I think it's because Australia it's still very new,
very new
to multiculturalism. It's still very
very new.
Unlike London,
America, UK. No. If you see people that have lived in UK,
yes,
they can sit down with, especially in London, they have banter with different race every day, and they have no problem about that.
They have no problem.
You go to Woolwich, you go to Beckham, everybody's just walking around. There's no like somebody's wearing African clothes and nobody's asking you what they're wearing, because they've been seeing it for years.
Correct.
Yet, if I wear this one to the city now, if people eyes were whoa. If I wear it in London, it's a normal. You see other people wearing it. Yes. You even start, hey, my brother, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Yes. Good. Even if I wear this to the city, even an African, it is not just true. Even an African will say, wow, you are bold. Oh. Exactly. You are bold of your culture. They will say, brother, my brother, how you doing? Yes. But they are not comfortable. Yes. To wear that. Because we want to feel like, I don't want to feel excluded. I want to feel included. You are so right. And we have a responsibility ourselves to. So, unfortunately, in Zimbabwe, we don't have a national dress. So, I can't. But I feel that, those African countries like Nigeria, which have that national dress, maybe we should wear that more. Because the more they see it, the more they know, the more they feel, I've seen this before. Yes. So the more you see it, the more you're like, it becomes normal. It's no longer new to you anymore. Exactly. But what happens is we also westernize our kids and westernize ourselves. Like, I remember back in the days, you see a young person go to UK, second day he has UK accent in it. But I'm like, brother, you just landed yesterday. Why do you have accent today? Everyone is wearing tongues and shorts, and like, you got £5, bro. I'm like, bro, you need to understand where you're coming from. So sometimes we have let go of our own culture.
True.
And then we want people to accept our skin color. I'm like, it's a bit of education that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
The government is doing a lot of education for the migrant. You must do English test because we want you to be able to speak English and speak to the people. But we are not teaching people accent test. Because you can speak English, but the brain has not absorbed the processing of that accent.
Yes. Of accents. I have a scenario where I was working. There was a Nigerian lady. She very animated in the way she spoke or speaks. She's still alive. The way she speaks, very passionate. She loved the job and did it very well. And then there was a Caucasian man. He was fairly new into the organization, so I think he was a little bit confronted by my Nigerian sister, just her manner. She's very confident and she's very tall. I always used to call her Serena Williams. She was built like that. But she loved her job and did it well. And then this man would always complain that, oh, I don't understand. Let's just call her Susan. I don't understand Susan when she's talking. He didn't say it to me. He would just be, you hear it through the grapevine and all that. And I was a team leader there, so I caught wind of it. And then I told my immediate boss, supervisor. So luckily, I say luckily because I think it fits well to our conversation. Luckily, she's Fijian, the boss. So I think that was a good thing because I think had she been Caucasian, maybe it would have been downplayed. But she was also Fijian. She's a black woman. And but she was also a bit new. So she needed to find a way of really addressing it that, you have to be careful about addressing it as well. So then we had a meeting. And so it was part of the agenda, cultural exchange, something like that. Yes, it was on the agenda. And she brought it up in the meeting. Everyone was in there. She said, oh, look, I understand we all come from different backgrounds and all that. I'm hearing that other people are having difficulty understanding, the other people. And so, and I spoke. I remember people were just saying, I think no one spoke. It was a touchy subject. And I spoke. I got up. I said, oh, thank you for bringing this up. I really think that it's important for all of us in this room to know that we all have an accent. All of us. So there were only 2 Caucasian men in the room. So I said, for example, yourself, A and B, they were seated next to each other, coincidentally. I said, for example, you two, you're Australian born, but I'll tell you right now, if you were to go to the UK or to America,
or Ireland or Scotland,
correct, they will be asking you, oh, where are you from? Or they might actually have trouble understanding your accent. Oh, I said, do you know that sometimes I actually have trouble understanding you when you speak? You could see the one who had been the problem. You could see him really sort of shrinking in his chair when I said that. I said, you might have been born in an English-speaking country, true, but you also have an accent. And to close it up, I just said, look, I believe that if we are listening with caring ears, if we are listening to understand, we will understand. And everybody was like, in these 2, the other one was not too bad, but the other one was like, oh, yeah, I suppose you're right. I suppose
you're right, man. You can fix that and tell you that.
So we have, yes, and I get that English one as well. Oh, your English is very good. Did you learn here, Mike?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I did. And then I walk away, just to be. But sorry, I know I spoke for a bit, but I want to add on to something that you mentioned as well about us as well not upholding our culture ourselves. Food. One time I took salsa to work.
Oh yeah.
I took that and I eat salsa with my hands.
Are we eating that?
We're gonna eat salsa. There's salsa cooking. We're definitely eating salsa today for sure. So I took salsa to work and I'm eating. And one lady I was working with Zimbabwe and she came in the staff room and she saw me. She's like, I said, what? You're eating salsa here? I said, yeah, what's wrong? Nah. She couldn't stand the questions and all that. I said, nah, This is the problem. You need to be yourself. Be your authentic self.
Yeah.
You know, like the company that I used to work for, one of their values was authenticity. This is my this is my food. And I would go in there, I would put it in the microwave, wash my hands, and I dig in. You know, so are we embarrassed about our culture?
But we're happy to go and learn chopsticks.
Yep.
Embarrassing.
Yep.
This is the, you see, the scenario you gave shows that leadership plays a big role in addressing a diversity issue at work. The role you play, you can see one of the things that worked well is you identified it.
Yes.
You called it out in a very structural way.
Yes.
You attempted to speak to the boss, say you've identified this.
Yes.
The boss understood what you're saying.
Yes.
Brought it to the meeting in the agenda. That shows the importance of it. Right? You didn't identify a name, you first generalize it.
Correct.
So that nobody feels attacked.
Yeah.
Because it's a safe space, right? And then after you generalized it, you preferred solutions.
Yes.
You gave real examples and solutions to that.
Yes.
That in itself shapes workplace culture. Do you get it? So you bringing out, and the addition to that was because you have a person of color.
Yes.
But now if you check most top roles in Australia, it's not a person of color that is there. So that is why we need a lot of training on cultural competency.
Right.
However, cultural competency that is being trained at the moment, respectfully speaking, is trained by people of no color.
Correct.
Yeah, and I begin to think cultural competence is not textbook.
So can you elaborate on what cultural competency is?
Cultural competency is the ability to understand that I don't know everything about all culture, nationalities, races, and whatever. And there are times that an attitude of a person does not specifically mean they are passing a certain information of anger. I'll give you an example of Zelensky. That guy.
Zelensky.
If you watch
of the moment, yes.
Ukraine, because I watched him because recently he had an episode with Trump.
Sure.
And you can see that the way he speaks,
yes,
his accent, his body composure, what he's going through would almost seem like an angry man.
True.
But if you look at him properly, you see it's a frustrated person who wants the best for his country. Yeah. Yes. In that space, if I bring it back to your friend who is from Nigeria, who is speaking in high volume, right? Yes. The other person interprets it as anger. Yes. But in respect that, in actual cultural person of that person, that is how she was grown to talk. Yes. Right? Yes. In my class, I've got Russian student. If she's speaking, my first time I thought she was angry. When she broke it down, and I thought, oh wow, this is not an angry person. This is a person trying to make a point, answer questions in class. Yes. Now the Zelensky thing, you can see him speaking, explaining himself, and trying to collaborate and say, yeah, this work and without going to the details of politics. Yes. Somebody from the back asked, why is he not wearing a suit? Yes. Yes. You see that. That's when I look at it, I further think this is like a workplace, what's it called? Continuous appraisal. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yes. And then you are called into a meeting and say, oh, Victor, you've been working with us for a long time, and now we think that we want to do this, we want to do that, and then there's someone is asking the question, another one is asking a question. Then you discover that this is more like an ambush. They've planted. It's not actually a meeting. They've already rehearsed what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And when you get to the meeting, you just boom, action. That's my own personal opinion for Zelensky. Yeah. So you're walking in thinking, this is just going to be a discussion. My input is welcome.
and I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be open. I'll speak my mind respectfully, and then thinking it's fair play, fair ground for everyone.
So let's play the role of your friend that you mentioned. Let's say all the managers are now not your skin color; they are white.
Yes.
Do you know they can have a workplace meeting for that same scenario?
Right.
And they say to you, I think you're just overthinking it because Bob is not like that. Bob does not think like that.
Yes.
We've worked with Bob for the past 15 years.
Yes.
Can you?
Bob has got black friends.
Bob has got black friends. He actually goes to. He lives in Marabuka. It's a safe space. Do you know Bob lives in Marabuka? And then you're like, what are you talking
What
about?
does that have
to do with what I just experienced?
Yes.
So because I've experienced that normally, you see real life email.
Yes.
Sent back and forth. Message the general manager, everybody, just for a simple question. And then when I spoke to manager, I'm like, did you see this email? Do you think it's appropriate?
Yeah.
And no, I think this person she's actually a nice person. She's been working with us. I'm like, yeah. But then when she left the company,
yes,
and then you come back to me,
yes,
and say, oh, she's actually horrible. And I was like, wait,
yes,
you're making me feel like
this.
Yes,
yes,
like that's a sample of gaslighting. Because you're making me feel insane.
Yes,
for pointing that out.
Yes, I like the emails when they CC, your manager. I love those. I love those, and I'm like, here we go. And I'll respond, and I'll reply to all, just so you know that I'm aware you've CC'd in my manager, and here's my response. My position is not changing because my manager has been CC'd in. Let's just be clear. My position is not changing, and I have pride. I would rather face my manager after.
But you are in a better position. But let's talk about people that are in a vulnerable state.
Correct.
Where they need that job to extend their visa.
True. You're so right. There's a lot of that as well. And so I suppose back to that Zelensky scenario, it's a very good scenario where you're saying it can actually happen in the workplace. You think it's going to be fair, and then they ambush you. Do you have any tips, though, on how people can be better prepared for things like that?
I mean, when you're going for meetings, maybe you reported a case and you wanted a support, for example, and they say, yeah, come for a meeting, let's talk about it.
Sure.
I think most times it's very important to know the details and the facts. Okay. Right? This is why it's important to always document things ahead. So that when you go with dates, you go with time. So when you go for such meetings, you must be prepared. Yep. With fact. You don't go with emotions like you feel everybody.
I'm gonna need more than emotions.
Yeah,
facts.
Yeah. Like on this day,
and timelines.
And timelines. On this day, like I was parking, she told me an African lady that park here, and this and that. On this day when I got in, she said this to me, she called me this, and I corrected her. On this day, you are having fact. You are outlining those things one after the other. Then on the day of the meeting, may I will advise, if your gut don't feel good, and you know that this meeting feels like an ambush, call a support person. Right? You can let them know, look, I'm coming with a support person for this meeting.
Normally they give you that option.
No, they give. But most times you don't even know who's the support person. Because a support person can be lawyer, can be a friend, can be a family member, can be anybody.
Sure.
But you are supposed to be able to, they give you that option. But they pray you don't exploit it. Yes. But if you're smart enough, explore that option. Right. So my support person will be here to support me.
But the support person doesn't talk, isn't it?
You don't have to talk. You just need somebody to be there as evidence. The person can even be asked like they are writing.
Yes.
You don't have to talk. Just go down there.
Do you think that will disempower them a little bit?
I think that would make them understand that you understand your right. Right? And many a times, people from migrant background come from an environment where their rights are not really something like they know. Like in Nigeria, somebody's act, it's not even like organization you call. Like in Western Australia, we've got what is called ombudsman, right?
Yes, yes.
The ombudsman are actually available to support in that space.
Yes.
I've had them in my school to speak to the international student because we want them to understand that if you are getting less paid, if you're working overtime and you're not getting paid, you have the right to speak and stuff like that. And they give you advice on what to do. So I personally, with my experience, I think when you go for this meeting, try as much as possible, prepare facts. We as most, I will say, Africans, we just see those conversations as like, I'll just put on the carpet and move on. And sometimes we react with our mouth.
Yes.
And Nigerians, I would say, when we speak sometimes, it looks like they're shouting.
Yeah.
And then you see a proper Australian person can maintain calmness even in storm.
Yes.
I listen to you. I hear you.
Yes.
Like, do you understand what you have just done?
Yes.
Do you understand? And you're like, oh. Anybody that sits from afar, we say, wow, this black man is shouting.
Right.
He's angry.
Yeah. Which to me though, communication is more than words.
It's more than words.
It's a lot of things. You have to look at the body language and don't listen at so it's the voice, the tone, the words, and the body. So you have to be, which goes back to my point where I said that if you're really listening to understand, you understand that no, he's not angry. He's just passionate. About the subject matter. It doesn't mean that they're angry. Why okay. No, that's good. So you take a support person there, then they be writing notes, but be prepared beforehand. I always tell people, don't want to go in a meeting, read. We need to equip ourselves. I think that's where we get caught out.
We don't equip ourselves enough.
We don't equip ourselves enough. You get given a work contract. You haven't even read it.
You read it? No. We just thank God we got a job. Yeah, thank God. A signed contract. Testimony time, amen. You don't even know what the job is about. Just put you general manager, but you're cleaning. Yeah, so many things like that. I think it's good. I think we also need an avenue because there's a lot of workplace issues. Last year, I think they introduced psychosocial safety in workplace. So every organization, the PCBU, has the responsibility of ensuring a safe workplace.
Right.
They identified bullying, racism, all these psychosocial safety that are not visible.
Correct.
Has got more impact on someone's mental well-being.
Correct.
In the long run.
Yes.
So it's not just about racism, it's the impact of that thing.
Yes.
It reduces productivity.
Sure.
It doesn't allow you to feel among in a workplace. You get to a workplace, you just feel like, I want to go home. Over time, you get burnt out. You have this stress.
Yes.
And that stress affects family. You get home, because especially men, you get home, you use the stress on your wife, your children, and everything. It's not, because there's nowhere to vent out.
Sure.
On this thing.
Sure.
So it's very important to know that, psychosocial safety in the workplace, it's like injury. If it's like physical injury, which affects your mind, your thinking, your body, your everything.
Yes.
As time goes on, we spend most of our lifetime in workplace.
Yeah.
So we spend more than half of our year, our life in a workplace.
Yes.
So I think it deserves a lot of action.
It does.
Of safety that needs to be done.
It does. So, yes, my former workplace had just introduced psycho safety. So yes, but though it's good, but I feel it's those things that are very difficult to prove. You know what I mean? And I also think that companies are just doing it so they can tick boxes.
Yeah, that's the other issue. That's why I say Australia has got a language called the paper language.
Okay.
Right? Paper language whereby they say everyone is going to go for training on psychosocial safety. And then after the training, did you do it? Yeah, you this time. Now, psychosocial safety is basically human behavior.
Yeah.
Now, the difficult part, as you mentioned, is how do I change? Not change.
Yes.
Like, when you understand that this is not a safe behavior,
Yes.
and then how do you call it out? Because
Yes.
we are not. It's not an environment where we call out things.
That's
we are like
right.
we cage it. You're like, I don't want to offend this person, so I would rather call for a meeting, do this step meeting, have you approach the person, have one-on-one meeting, then close the case. Happen again, one-on-one meeting, close it. But the victim is still, it's not addressed.
Sure.
Stuff like that. So then it's very important to know that psychosocial safety is not just for paper.
Yes.
And most time it's not training based. I mean, training has impact on it.
Yes.
But human behavior.
Yes.
Is the justification of safety in workplace.
Yep.
How am I how can I show kindness to you and understand where you're coming from? And you understand that I'm also actually showing genuine kindness.
True.
Without wanting to cause harm to
you. True.
So yeah, you're right. It's gonna be hard to justify because compared to other sort of risk at workplace.
Yes.
Where you can get injury and
it's
you can see the court, doctor can do that and this. But now it's difficult to be able to manage your psychosocial.
So I suppose I was mentioning that to then say to our people, to whoever is watching, that we need to equip ourselves. Know your rights, know your responsibilities. Because sometimes I always say to people, you don't want to go in and then you find out, oh, you're the one who's wrong. It's okay, you can apologize. That's fine. But you'd rather know beforehand when you're going in. But if you've gathered all the information, I think we need to be our biggest advocates. You need to advocate for yourself because no one is going to advocate for you. You need to stand up for yourself. You need to stand up. And I know we're saying that some people are international students and they need the job and all that. But I really think that nothing, and I say again, nothing should ever be more important than your mental well-being.
Nothing, yeah. You're spot on that.
If the job is making you unhappy, you don't just up and leave. No, you bring it up to the relevant people. But if you're seeing that nothing is being done, I think it's time to leave. I think another thing we could also touch on is the EAP, the Employment Assistance Program. Yes.
They exist there. But apparently people are not calling, they're not using the services enough. So people should start using those services.
Use that.
Because that could serve as your way of documenting things too.
Correct.
So you can be like, you call it EAP, you're making a booking, they can set on your calendar.
Yes.
When you have that EAP, book it in your calendar. Let them know that there's EAP on your calendar. You're having support needed.
Yes.
You're getting that support from that person. So it's very important. And documenting these things.
Yes.
Making them know that, can I have a work with you? Can I have a meeting?
Yes.
And then you confirm with email.
Yes.
Hi Jack. Thank you for the meeting today. Today we had a conversation around this incident. I hope we are able to resolve based on this and that. Don't be lazy. Do this documenting in the next few years before you leave. Don't just say, I'm going to leave. Make some proactive actions before choosing. Yeah. And don't react a lot on emotions.
Yes. I think with the EAP, I see why it's underutilized. It's number one because generally Africans, we think we're tough and all that, so we don't go to therapy and all. I think that's part of the reason why it's underutilized. And the other thing is, I saw in one of our ladies groups probably a few months ago, someone wrote there asking that if I went for a session like EAP session, so employee assistance program, do they feed back to my manager? I said they will just say yes, Lucky was here, but they don't mention why, because they're bound by
privacy and
confidentiality. So it's important for people to know that, So I think that's why it's underutilized. They think, if I go and talk about my boss, they're gonna hear about it. They won't.
I mean, they won't. They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
We don't know what's going on the ground.
Correct.
But there are also other avenues. The ombudsman can also provide you with other services for counseling. There's Ed to Health. They do also counseling. Beyond Blue also actually have the workplace counseling available for Beyond Blue, where you can also speak to someone.
Yeah.
And if you have the money, there's no harm booking for a counseling session, and you pay for that. Continue your coach, if you have a coach.
Yes.
They can also serve as, this person have experienced this level of abuse and stuff at work, and how can we work together to support this person?
No, I like that. No, but though, before we sort of wrap up, I want to ask you, you've been here since 2014, so that's now 11 years almost. Would you think, though, that this diversity, inequality, or equality, do you think it has gotten better? Let's say, for example, your scenario in the nursing home back in the day, like where we are now. Do you think that Australia has made progress? And do you think that it's getting better or it's getting worse or it hasn't changed?
I think I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Right? I think there are some areas of workplace sector in Australia, in Perth, I won't say Australia, in Perth, that they have now allowed people of other color to occupy.
Okay. Such
more
as
disability aged care, right? More people of color are now like there to occupy. But all these organizations are linked to peak bodies. And these peak bodies have got peak bodies.
Sure.
So if you want to influence things there, you need representative in the peak body.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
And that representative.
Yep. Who's calling?
It's my alarm.
Let's hear.
So those representatives are the one that will make those changes.
They influence the changes.
Influence the changes. Now, in saying that, I've also been to other parts of Australia where I've seen serious diversity, like Melbourne and Sydney. It's more like, wow, like this is cool.
Sure.
Like I ask my guys, what do you do there? They tell them they're manager of this, manager of that.
Yes.
I'm like, how did you get that job?
Yes.
Yeah. But in Western Australia, we are very isolated.
Yeah.
So we're still in that phase where most people are just getting their first real managerial job, maybe after 10, 15 years. They're now in the frame of mind that I'm now in a board of director.
Right.
I'm now in an environment where I can sit down and make decisions.
Sure.
So we need more of that. I think it's in a work in progress for Western Australia, and we are moving towards that level as compared to other states.
Right.
But we getting there slowly.
Right. Oh no, you're right. You're right. I agree with that. Even politics as well.
Yeah.
That's another area that having representation there can influence the policies. Yes. So maybe you should run for office, Victor. Don't say
Yeah, I think
all of a sudden you don't speak English.
It's good we have representatives in those areas. That would be really it will help in this diversity.
Yes, because for our children, I think we are here for some time.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that the laws of the land, the policies that they're making, they accommodate.
And remember, most of these policies were made before we arrived.
True.
So it's a lot of changes and that needs to be accommodated.
Yep.
But we also need the right people, not just people of color, the right people of the right color to be there.
True.
Yeah, people of diverse color, but then we need the people that understand the minority group.
Yeah,
to be there.
It's interesting you're saying that. The right people of color. Yes, because there's also diversity within diversity.
That one, because the worst discrimination is between
ourselves.
You get
maybe
that one because that is the worst sort of discrimination.
I agree with that. I think sometimes we are our worst enemies.
We are our worst, and we need to improve and love ourselves.
Yes.
And be there for our brothers and sisters. If we actually say their brothers and sisters.
Yeah, because sorry, I know we were about to wrap up, but I just thought of something. even when we're discussing on Facebook and all that, people say, "Oh, I got a shift to work at this hospital, and the head nurse or whatever, whoever was in charge of that shift, she's Zimbabwean. Oh my goodness, I experienced hell on that shift, And she said I was expecting that
my sister.
but she gave me grief on the shift. But then again, for me, when I see things like that, I'm like, oh, that's awful. But then again, I also don't know what you did.
What you did. You see, it's a very. I'm like, why would you want preferential treatment because the person is?
You know what I'm saying?
No, but then do your job. I do my job. Let's be professional.
Correct.
But then when it comes to like, I'm scolding you. Yes. When you have done your job, then that is questionable.
Correct.
But if you're doing your job, but if you get to job and you now say, the manager is black, and because of that, you're like, I'm just going to sit down and have 5 hours of coffee.
Already. That's a problem.
That's the problem there.
Yes.
Because that is the things we are trying to fight against.
Yes.
So that we are very efficient now.
Correct. Yeah, so that's why we're having these conversations as well. So regardless of your color, still do a good job.
Just do a good job. Don't
not because
my brother is there, my sister is there. That's why most people now don't even want to employ themselves. But then we need to have a very good work ethic.
Yes.
And understand that if this is a job, this is a job.
Yeah.
This is what I'm paid to do. Yep. I'll do it.
Yep.
And don't overuse the other person.
Correct.
And we need to speak respectfully speaking. Sure. Or don't use your normal go and do this. No, excuse me, please. Can you help me?
Sure.
Speak respectfully. The way you speak respectffully to the other work colleagues,
yes,
apply same courtesy.
Yeah, I find that is a little bit funny. I remember one time when I was working at my other job. I left my job around November, so that's why I keep on referring to it. I was a team leader, like I said, and one colleague, she's Zimbabwean. She wanted to leave early, so normally she would ask me to say, "Oh, Lucky, can I leave early?" So she didn't, and then my supervisor, so the second in charge, two rows above me, came. She was working at our site that day, and she's going to ask her that she wants to leave early. But this lady, she's Caucasian, the most professional person I've ever met. She brought it back to me. She said, Lucky, so and so said they want to go home early. Have they spoken to you? I said, no, they have not. Thank you for letting me know. I'll talk to them. And then I didn't say anything. I was waiting because she was going to now ask from that lady to say, "Oh, is it okay if I can go home?" So she went and asked and said, "Oh, so is it okay if I can go home?" She said, "No, go and speak to Lucky." And she came to me. She said, "Oh, Lucky, I was just wondering if I could go." I said, "May I know why you didn't ask me first and you went to so and so?" I just thought, you could see she didn't know what to say. I said, this is the problem. She's Zimbabwean. I said, this is the problem that this is the problem we're creating, whereby every time when I am the one who's in charge, why are you going to ask so and so?
100%.
And it's come back to me. And to be honest with you, the decision of you going home or not,
that's on you.
It's on me. I said, do you see that now? Oh yeah, I see it. I said, so please, do not disrespect me. Do not disrespect my role. I am the one who makes that decision. I'm so sorry and all that. And I mean, I allowed her, but I don't think she will ever do that again, even to anyone.
It's good you allowed that because I won't allow.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a personal thing. Yeah. I didn't, but I was happy that I addressed it. So, and then I asked her, I said, if it was so and so, another team leader at another site, if that it was her, would you have done that? Oh no, I'm sorry. I said, this is the problem. We are our worst enemies. I actually expect respect from everyone, but maybe more from you.
Exactly.
Because we are already up against
many things.
And now I have to fight with you too.
Again now. It's not right.
Yeah. But anyway, no, thank you so much. Any last words before we?
I'll just say a few things we've touched on. One of the things we've touched on, most important thing is know your rights.
Sure.
Learn communication style.
Sure.
Like the fact that you, like when you talk and you think your voice is going a bit loud, sometimes understand that in some environment you must keep it in the room.
Inside voices,
right? And understand like we are all growing.
Yeah.
Back home was not a problem.
Sure.
But if you can keep it more professional,
Sure.
if you feel like you don't feel comfortable to have a conversation,
Yeah.
say, I'm just going to take a break
Yeah.
and I'll come back to this and
Yeah.
stuff like that. For leaders, we need our leaders to be able to learn different culture. You can do this even through this Harmony Day coming up. You can do this through getting your staff member to even give you a presentation of what culture would look like for them. You know, you don't have to necessarily contract it out to a specialist, because the specialist could be in your workplace.
Correct.
Give them that platform
like
to
that.
share that conversation.
Yeah.
Or just give us a time where you've been culturally shocked and
Yeah.
what does culturally shock mean to you.
Yeah.
Have a banter with your workplace team member, and people learn from that, not from just slides. People can learn just by having a chat. Make it a normal conversation to say we are all different, but we want to work together as a team. How can we do that effectively and respectfully?
I like that, the Harmony Day one, because I believe we have a lot of people who run like NDIS businesses, so they're employing a lot of people from different nationalities. That is a very good one for them. You know, if you're watching and you're running a business like that, take this on board. It's really good advice to say, you know, have it being organized by the staff.
By the staff.
Don't outsource.
Don't outsource.
Yes, make it a culture exchange day. You know, they bring their staple food. Bring your salsa, eat your salsa there with your hands. You know, if it's fufu, eat. You know, pepper soup.
Bring your cultural attire. Just, you know, show that, share that within yourself.
Yes.
It becomes normalized.
Yes.
Even within that.
Yeah. And we need to be proud of who we are.
We need to be proud.
And where we've come from. I think that pride is what will help us to uphold it. Then if we don't fade away, you know, being our Zimbabweanness should stay, you know, and people need to know that, oh, you know, she's Zimbabwean, and I'm proud of it.
Proud of it.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Victor. I think we can go on. I can't wait to have you back again. You know, there's so much we can talk about, but I truly appreciate your time. So thank you for the love the outfit. Really, really like it.
You have to make efforts to look good when you come here.
That's right. That's right. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, you can say bye. I don't know which camera.
Bye.
Thanks.